Hey, what's up? Grandma here, and today I'm doing what more grandmas should do, and I'm playing some Elden Ring. I've also got another story for you about Malenia, Bloom of Rot, the childhood of swords and suffering. And I hope you like it, and if you do, and you want more content like this, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps my channel grow. I appreciate you. The Erdtree's roots had not yet stretched towards the heavens when Malenia was born. She came into the world beneath the golden grace of the Erdtree, yet carried no favor of its blessings. Instead, she bore a terrible curse, one that gnawed at her flesh even as she drew her first breath. Malenia was born the daughter of Queen Marika the Eternal and the great red-haired champion Radagon. A twin to Miquella, she was expected to be radiant, a warrior of golden lineage destined to uphold the order. But fate, ever cruel, had carved a different path for her. The affliction that plagued her was the Scarlet Rot, a slow and merciless decay and an unholy blight that festered within her bones. The first time she screamed as an infant, it was not from hunger or cold, but from pain, and it would never leave her. Even in childhood, Malenia was taught that weakness had no place in the lands between. She and Miquella were raised in the shadow of the Erdtree, yet neither of them was truly welcomed by it. Miquella, though gifted beyond comprehension, was cursed with eternal youth, his body refusing to mature beyond that of a child. Malenia, though powerful, was a warrior shackled to a sickness that would one day consume her completely. Her tutors only saw her divine blood, not the agony she endured. They trained her as they would train any scion of Marika. Harshly, relentlessly. Swords were placed in her hands before she could properly lift them. Every morning she was made to practice her footwork until her limbs trembled. She tried to keep pace with the others, but the rot was insidious. It gnawed at her body, sapping her strength, making even the simplest movements torturous. The first time she collapsed in the training grounds, gasping as crimson-tinged bile rose in her throat, the onlookers whispered among themselves. "She's unfit," they said. A broken daughter of the golden lineage. That night she did not sleep. Her fever burned hotter than the Erdtree's light, and her limbs ached as though gnawed by unseen mouths. She clenched her fists, cursing the pain, hating the weakness. Miquella was there, as he always was. He placed a hand on her burning forehead, whispering, "You are strong, Malenia, stronger than they know." She did not answer. Instead, she clenched her fingers around the hilt of her sword and resolved to prove them wrong. Malenia learned to fight not through divine grace, but through sheer will. She trained longer than the others, pushed herself harder. Every cut, every bruise, every moment of agony was another step forward. The pain never left her, but she learned to wield it, to turn it into a weapon. Her instructors were astonished. She moved like a tempest, her blade a flurry of perfect arcs and precise strikes. Where she lacked endurance, she made up for it in sheer technique, but the rot remained. No matter how strong she became, no matter how skilled, the disease festered in her blood, an unavoidable fate lurking in her future. She did not care. One evening, while she trained alone beneath the golden light of dusk, she faltered. Her body seized, the rot taking hold in a sudden surge of agony. She fell to her knees, her breath ragged, her vision swimming with red. That was when she saw the man. A warrior stood before her, clad in dark robes, his face veiled by an iron mask. His presence was calm, unwavering. "You fight well," he said, his voice as smooth as flowing water. "But you fight against yourself." Malenia clenched her teeth. "I will not fall." "You already have," he replied, "and you will fall again and again. Your affliction is not something you can overcome through mere will. It is part of you. You must learn to wield it, not fight against it." She knew who he was, the warrior who had abandoned his name, who had cast aside all identity to serve the blade alone, the blind swordsman who had walked the path of decay and returned unbroken, the one who would become her master. "Teach me," she demanded. He studied her for a long moment, then nodded. From that night forth, she trained not just in the ways of the blade, but in the ways of the rot. The swordsman taught her to embrace the sickness, to let it flow through her veins like a river of fire, to make it her strength rather than her weakness. And she did. Years passed. Malenia grew into a warrior unlike any other. Her blade was an extension of herself, her movements a deadly dance, and yet the rot remained festering beneath her skin, waiting. The day of her first true battle came sooner than expected. A war band of knights seeking favor with the Erdtree sought to claim glory by challenging the children of America. They did not see her as a threat. They learned their mistake in blood. Malenia stood amidst the battlefield, her golden armor gleaming beneath the sun, her sword dripping crimson. Her body ached, her vision blurred, but she did not falter. The knights charged her, their weapons raised, and then something within her bloomed. A surge of Scarlet Rot erupted from her body, a crimson flower unfurling in the heart of the battlefield. The earth withered beneath her, the very air turning poisonous. The knights stumbled, their flesh peeling, their armor corroding. They had no time to scream before they perished. When the battle ended, Malenia stood alone, surrounded by the dead. Her breath was ragged, her body trembling. She had won. But as she gazed upon the rot-infested ruins she had created, she understood this was her fate. No matter how skilled, no matter how strong, she would always carry destruction with her. She was not a warrior of the Golden Order. She was the blade of Malenia-a, the bloom of rot, and she would carve her own legend.